Hello YouTube, my guest tonight is a very bright, hardworking and a dedicated person. On his first attempt, he cracked the NPSC exam 2021 and received the post of EAC, Extra Assistant Commissioner. Please help me welcome Mr. Chinglem Konyak. Hey buddy!
Hello bro, how are you?
I am doing good, how are you? And welcome to the show.
I'm fine. Thank you.
Congratulations for getting through the exam.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Honestly, over the moon, and I'm excited.
It must be. It was your first attempt, no?
Yes bro. It was last year, so.
It was your first attempt. It must have been nerve-wracking for you. So how do you feel about that being your first attempt and the exam?
Yes, I was quite nervous, honestly. I graduated last year from modern college in BA. I think the results were out by July, and our prelims was in November. So I only had 5 months. So even before the prelims, I had already begun my preparation right from the BA first semester itself. So my groundwork was laid down. So I should say my foundation was quite strong. But however, I only began my full swing preparation right after my graduation. So it was 5 months, and by God's grace, I could clear the prelims. And after prelims, we had enough time for mains. So I think meticulous study and reference to previous year questions. I think those smart study rather than hard study. I think that helped me crack the exam in the first attempt itself.
Truly. I think smart study is the thing right now.
Yes, indeed.
And then you were mentioning that you had just 5 months to prepare. It must have been nerve-wracking for you and pressuring at the same time that you had to prepare and give the exam in just 5 months.
Yes. As mentioned, aspirants should not be confused that this exam could be cracked within just 5 months. As I mentioned, I already began my preparation right from the first semester. So it was like accumulation of knowledge, not just within a short period of time. So I think, as I mentioned, smart study, that's the key, I feel.
Truly. When did you realize that you wanted to appear for exams like this, competitive exams like this?
Yes, growing up, I always wanted to be an administrator. So, and as I grew up, I learned that one could become an administrator after cracking the exam, be it UPSC or NPSC. So right then, I knew that being an administrator was my dream job. So that's how I got along.
Your dream of wanting to work in the administration pushed you forward, I suppose, to appear and study for the exam.
Yes, indeed.
So when you got the result that you got the EAC boost, what was your reaction?
Naturally, I am emotionally reclusive, but I remember my sister slapping on my shoulder, and my parents were over the moon. Of course, they were, overjoyed. So on my side, there wasn't much kind of a showcase of emotion.
I mean, it must have been overwhelming for the whole family, your mommy, your daddy, your siblings and so forth.
It was. My friends and my relatives were more happy than me. I remember that.
I suppose they were. Were you in any way expecting to get the EAC post?
Of course not. My exams went well, my mains, my 3 papers, and even the review, I feel that I had done quite well. However, EAC I did not expect. Honestly, I expected some post. Maybe not gazetted, but I expected at least some post, but not EAC, of course. I think none of the toppers would have expected to be in the merit list in EAC. So this exam is in such a way that nothing could be predictable.
I mean, everything just happens for a reason, I suppose. And then you were mentioning that you started your preparation in your first semester, BA first semester. So I think all your hard work definitely paid off.
Yes.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard from someone that you studied in Science College and transferred to Modern.
Yes, I did my secondary in science.
Oh, wow.
So it was so after my 12th, I took my admission at Science College, but however, I could not align my study interest in that field, so I switched. I couldn't complete BSc. I dropped out myself, and I joined BA in political science.
Do you think that you studying science in your higher secondary has helped you also at the same time to prepare for the exam in the science field?
Indeed, very much, very much. My elders and my mentors suggested me that, hinted me that aspirants from the science background would have more advantage. So it turned out to be true. Even in prelims and mains, I did pretty well, I think, comparatively well to other aspirants in the science section. So it was indeed very helpful.
It must have been. How was your preparation process? Like, what time did you have to get up to study, and what time did you go to bed? What was your preparation process like for the exam?
I think it depends on aspirants to aspirants, individuals, because they have different nature of studying. So for me, I personally cannot study in the morning. I would sleep at 1 a.m. and wake up at 10 a.m. always. So studying in the morning was out of question for me. So I could study only during the evening at night time. And in the 5 months that I had right after my graduation, subjects like maths and science, of course, I did them in class 12, so foundation was done there. However, I had to study much deeper in the perspective of NPSC. So I should say that they were quite new to me. And after that, subjects like geography, so they were challenging for me. And so I spent the first month of the 5 months studying, trying to cover those subjects. So I still remember studying for 9 hours straight during the day for the first month, and then for the remaining months I did only revision. So revision was did not consume much time, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours a day. So that's how I got along my
I
routine.
mean, a very intense preparation. I can see that.
Yes,
9 hours in your first phase of the month, 9 hours. And then,
Yes.
what do you think you had to give up in the process of preparing for the exam? Because you had to intensely prepare, no? So what do you think you had to give
Yes,
up? Your
yes.
free time, your leisure time?
Of course, I used to play sports, football specifically, but I had given up right after my college. And even socially, I had to isolate myself. I'm a permanent resident of Mon district, but I've been a resident of Kohima for the past 7 years. So I think it depends on person to person on what they should sacrifice. So I think being isolated and being alone helped me concentrate on my preparation rigorously.
Truly. You must have friends also who also appeared for the exam. So did you receive any messages from them? I mean, like, how was their reaction, your friends?
My friends, they were of course overjoyed, and they did not react much because they told me that they already knew the results even before the declaration. So they were like, "Janai is all." So it was indeed very surprising. Yeah. Two of my friends got through, two of my Konyak friends, and I know many of them who could not clear go through the interview, and even the men's. So they'll be preparing again. The prelims is
Hopefully.
tomorrow, I think. Yes.
What do you want to achieve through your EAC post as an officer, class 1?
Yes. I think that's a really good question, but somewhat vague, I think, because duties and responsibilities would depend on the posting that you're getting. For example, a new trainee may get under ADC or DC headquarter, or maybe under SDO circle or independent EAC administrative circle. So I think it depends on such posts. So my first priority would be to cater to the needs of the administrative circle or establishment and fulfill my duties wherever I'm posted.
Truly. How do you now want to contribute back to the society in any way?
Yes, contributing to society was the main primary motive that drove me to appear this exam and be an administrator. So now that I am an administrator, of course, I'll try my best to go in that direction. But however, strictly speaking, and primarily an EAC, specifically EAC would be, an administrator would be a link between the government and the public. So as I grew up and even during my college days, I observed that there are many schemes, for example, many government schemes, be it for the upliftment of the social welfare, maybe in that field. There are many schemes, however, the beneficiaries or public are not being benefited. So I personally feel that those legs are administrative legs. So being an administrator, I feel that I could be a moderator there and deliver those schemes and services to the public. So
Truly.
that would be in the field of administration.
Truly. I have to ask you this. Is this your final goal as an EAC, or do you want to further pursue more?
Of course, no, bro. ESC is merely means to an end. So ends, as I mentioned, is to serve the public. So I'll try my best to go in that direction.
All the best to that. Any advice to
Thank you.
young aspirants?
Aspirants, to those serious aspirants, if you're serious, then start your preparation early. Maybe even when you are in your secondary stage or be in your bachelor's, refer to syllabus if you're a serious aspirant, and then refer and solve previous year's questions, and collect the materials and books, the right materials, and then multiple revision. That should do.
Truly incredible advice. 5 years down the road from now, where do you see yourself in your career or with you personally?
That would be a hard question or answer. However, 5 years down the line, I think I will have at least a transfer, I suppose, and then by the time I hope that I would have gained some experience as an administrator, and maybe after that, after 9 years, maybe a promotion perhaps, and where I would be given more responsibilities to shoulder upon.
5 years down the road from now, I hope that you get to achieve every single thing that you mentioned. Hopefully.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. Thank you.
When you were appearing the exam last year, was the question paper hard?
This year there seemed to be change in the some alteration in the some papers, example, especially in English. So comprehension was easy, of course, and for example in GS2, I think I personally felt that the maths and reasoning portion was much harder than the previous years. So I think this year those candidates from the maths and science background, they had more advantage. So that could be it. Or else English was very easy. Usually English comprehension part used to be very hard. However, and time consuming. However, this year it was quite easy. So if it's easy, then it would be easy for all the candidates. So the competition level would still remain the same.
It depends yearly, the toughness of the question paper. Before we end these, I have to ask you this. What is your plan for Christmas and what is your New Year resolution?
I never had New Year resolutions in my entire life, so even this year I think there may be no new things. However, this Christmas, I believe that by God's grace, this Christmas is going to be very special for me and my family members. So I'm hoping for the best.
It truly is. I am wishing you all the very best for your future ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I loved having you,
Thank you,
honestly,
bro.
and such an inspirational story to share and hear.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
No
Very glad
problem.
that I can make it.
All the very best for your posting, your
Thank you.
appointment, and so forth. Okay. May God be with
Thank you.
you,
Thank you very
Chinglem.
much.